Alright guys, we're back with another Viewer Loadout building video, and this time we're going to revisit things for Darth Modger because they recently became a member, and we've got to run it back for them as one of the perks. Now, we have a very interesting request in today. There's quite a few bits on them. I'm going to pop it up on screen now, but overall the consensus is we've got a $1,700 budget that can go to $2,000 if we feel it's fitting enough. We've got a requirement, we have to have smokeout gloves on CT. We've got a little bit of flexibility around that. And then the colours, which is the big thing, CT side, purple, blue and green, and T side is yellow, orange and red. So we have an interesting request, lots of sort of movement and doings on the custom, so let's cook. I'm going to kick it off on the CT side, and as you requested the smokeout gloves, I thought while there's blue and green requests for the knife, I thought for the budget level of making it work, we should go for a knife that complements the gloves really well, and that is the classic knife Urban Mast. It's $165, the gloves are $206, which means this is a very budget-friendly combination. I love the classic knife Urban Mast with these gloves, because all the greys pairing together so nicely, and you get a cool idle animation. In regards to agent, I have Ricksaw picked out, which is like $18.20. Agent prices are getting a little bit nuts, but that's going to be the agent. There is an option to upgrade the knife, which I'm going to showcase the knife now, but we'll get to the pricing at the end. There's a world where we can go for this Bowie Doppler Phase 3 to get those blues and the greens that he wanted in, but obviously it's not like the very calming pairing with the gloves, and it's achievable in the budget, but it does put us right up to the 2k amount, so we'll revisit this conversation near the end. When it comes to the USP, the monster mashup felt like an obvious choice for me when we've got the request here for purple, blue and green. This skin gets us green and blue at a very high level, so I'm a huge fan of it. It is $44, but I think it's worth it. And then we basically keep the exact same vibes when we go over to the P250, because we got to see you later. Here we got the green, we got the blue as well. There is a yellow accent coming in, but it is mostly green and blue. Like, one thing just to know, if you were happy with this classic knife and you want to consider using the $2,000, what I would say is that budget would allow you to go and get minimal wear gloves, because there are some scuffs coming through on the gloves. I'm also not sure if the resolution has rendered properly. Over in the Desert Eagle, we get a really nice choice, because we're going to go for the Midnight Storm, which is now $47 factory new, so it's been creeping up in price, but it's this nice cyany blue color that looks really good, and it just in general, this Deagle gives me like close to S tier vibes, like A tier vibes Desert Eagle, with a really nice pattern. Joe Perez, I thought it was such an easy choice to go for the fluorocarbon fours, because we've got this purple base, we've got the greens, and we've got the blues, and there's a little bit of orange coming through, which you want on the CT side, but mostly we hit all three colors you want here for 73 cents. And it might be a bit unorthodox to spend $33 on the 5.7, but it's hard to deny that the 5.7 Hyper Beast is just perfect for this. Like, if you look at all the other 5.7 options, this one is the only one that's going to get you every color you want, while looking amazing. And then, as you said you were happy for having artwork over exact color pairings, I then was like, okay, you can be a bit flexible in where the colors are appearing that you request. So for the MP9, for example, we go full green. So we've got the green and black with the Hydra. It's $10.54 minimal wear. Looks great with the gloves, and it was just nice being able to move between like 2 or 3 different color options and not having to be bang on one the whole time. For example, we're then able to move into the Just Smile for the MP7, which gets you your blue, gets you your purple, and of course there is a little bit of yellow as well. But if you didn't have this flexibility for not going crazy on color pairings, you'd be really stuck. One that I found interesting was the UMP. I ended up going for a Battle Scarred Neo Noir, which will cost you about $3.76. I like in Battle Scarred that the blue tints around the sword change a little bit. Obviously this has purple, it has blue, it also has pink coming through as well, but with that being a complementary color for what we wanted, I thought it could work well. Plus there's a lot of black, which works with the smokeouts. Then you had purple and you had green, so the XM Ziggy is going to be the best strike here. Plus it's got heavy grey patterns, which again work with the gloves, so for under $1 this just ticks the box nicely. And another one that basically perfectly fills what we want, it's got purple blue base, it's got a green monster on it. The monster call for 67 cents is 100% the right choice for the Mag 7, and it should be the only choice you're making. This one you may have expected. For the Emperor 1S, we are going to go for the Hyper Beast. It's $62 in minimal wear, and once again, you're getting your blues, you're getting your purpley pinks, and you're getting heavy green. Like, for wanting these 3 colors, without a doubt, the best option you're going to get, which is still good value for money. I have a backup M4, and that's going to be the Nightmare. And this is more so if you don't vibe with the Hyper Beast artwork, you have something to go to. It is cheaper at $21, which is handy. You're going to save 40 bucks. But also, the one thing here is you're only getting one of the colors you request, but if you prefer the artwork, then that's your win-win. And then, trying to get at least 2 of the colors you want, I was able to go for the Desolate Space here, because it gets us the purple, and it gets us the blue. And the nice thing here is minimal wear holds up really nicely condition-wise, and it's only $13.50. So So big fan of being able to group this one into the loadout, but you can let me know if this is the info you would have gone for or not. Keeping the same vibe, we're trying to get at least 2 of the colors. That's where the Aetherius just cried out to me as the right choice. It's $6.30, blue base with the green accents, and honestly, this is some of the best green accent color you're going to get in the game. So for $6.30, you're getting an absolute bargain here, I feel. And then you're going to vibe it out with a slightly scuffed Famis because it's the Night Bore. It is $10, and a plus if you want to get it in like good condition. But what I like about this is like an off bluish purple palette color, like really light, with a black base. It actually looks fantastic with the smoke out gloves, so really interesting one to sort of keep in mind. And then we end off the CT side with the Death by Puppy. Now I don't know if you want to spend $7 upwards for an AUG. If you don't use it at all, by all means, mate, you can just save the money here, but I want to want to include it. And here, of course, this has blue, it's got green, and it's got purple. So in regards to hitting your 3 colors, this is absolutely perfect for it. Now next thing we're going to do is jump over to the T side where the theme changes completely. But I just want to say, if you guys are wondering about how you can get involved with viewer loadouts, and more importantly maybe how to skip the queue, we do all the viewer loadouts through Discord, so make sure you're there to begin with. That's when I announce it, and that's where I'll work with you on the requests. And if you're a YouTube member, one of the perks is you get a custom loadout video, so you basically can guarantee to skip the queue and get it done. With that out of the way, let's move on to the T side. Now I can't lie, this was an interesting one, and you can see that I ended up going for the reds with the black accents here. This is a Sports Gloves Scarlet Shamit, field tested, they're $440, and then with the knife I went for a survival knife slaughter, $245. Now this combination to me looks perfect. One of the reasons I actually like the survival knife with the Scarlet Shamit is if you look at the gloves and I'll zoom in, they've got those weird little textures where there's like a sharp edge, and then you look at the knife and it's got like the same pattern plus the patterns of the knife pattern itself too, like the finish. Overall, I think everything just makes it tie together really nicely. Obviously, there was the request of yellow, orange, and red. I did spend time looking at maybe 5 or 6 other combinations, looking at like of Tiger Strikes, POWs, even Marble Fades, seeing if we get patterns to line. But with the budget, I just want an S tier vibes. This is what I landed on. The note I have is you asked for $1,000 max for the knife and glove combination. Currently, we're coming out at $1,056, so hopefully you can forgive me for that $56 buffer. Agent-wise, just while we're on it, we're going to have Sir Bloody Silent Darrow, who's $40, and you can barely see him here, but there you go. You got the silver accents coming through, and the silver under the black and red just looks good. And you've seen it here, the snack attack is actually going to be my block of choice. It's almost $20, which seems crazy to me, but it is red with yellow, and there's some sort of brownie colors there as well, which I think can sometimes align with orange. So in regards to getting like your red and yellow, we're actually getting it here, which is kind of cool. I did want to get some creativity, so rather than going for the Isaac for the Tech 9, I went for the red quartz. Obviously red is in the name, but the finish itself is much more like a dark orange color, and it's 20% factory new, just something a bit different to make sure you're actually getting some of that color mix in. And I know you'll maybe call it bias because I really like the Allure, but the Allure has orange at the back, it's got deep red that you can see on it. Doesn't really have yellow, but it has again 2 of the colors you want, plus the artwork just looks really good. Like, man, I'm looking at this and I'm like, damn, why didn't I run an Allure when I had the Scarlet Shams? It looks good. Bloodsports are really nice for this because Bloodsports are like this reddish orange, and then they have the yellowy gold accents on them, so you do get to hit all your colors. Plus there's a bit of grayish black in there as well to tie in with the gloves. The MP7 is just under the $2 mark. UMP, I can't lie, struggled a little bit with options here. You're going to end up with a full stop. It's $1.34. It is a reddy orange camel pattern, so maybe that's the bonus of it. We then have on the P90, I was going to go for a orangey base skin, but then when I went for the Scarlet Sham gloves, I was like, man, the Shallow Grave for the $2 market field test with these gloves looks too good for me not to do the pairing. And then, as I appreciate you maybe don't want to spend a crazy amount on a Bison, I wouldn't field test it for the High Roller, because that means it comes in at only $3, which on a $1,700 to $2K loadout isn't really breaking the bank. You'll just have to deal with some scuffs on it. But this one, Bison options in general, you're kind of forced into one color, so I thought going for the red, the pair with the gloves, made the most sense. Now, your Gale option actually was pretty interesting. A factory new control Gale, one of the new ones in the game, I think works interestingly well with the gloves. I had this in mind more so when planning with the PALs, but it has orange and it has red. So the only thing you're really missing is yellow, but you've got this orangey polymag as well with the golden bullets that you can see. So like for the 3 colors you want it, and actually coming together nice enough with the gloves, like it looks solid. The blacky grey also plays in. I really like this for under $3. Now, there may have been a small little bit of giveaway when I used it for the MP7, but of course the AK here is going to be the Bloodsport. It is a red-orange base with the lines going through it, and again, it's got the yellowy gold texture, so it gets you all 3 colors that you want. What I'm interested in is, you asked for T-side with red, orange, and gold, and yellow. So were you expecting the Bloodsport to be suggested, or did you have something else in mind? Because this is like the obvious choice, and I'm really interested to know, were you thinking of maybe like a fuel injector for the yellow? Because I know there was the request to not necessarily go for perfect color pairings, but I'd assume you at least wanted to be aligned with the gloves where possible. That's where the wildfire comes in nicely for me. Field test, it will run you $49, so you are going to get some scuffs on it, but when you're using it in idle and actually using it in game, it holds up pretty nicely. And again, red with this yellowy orange vibe of the fire, all three colors being boxed off. Maybe relying on fire is a little bit of a cheat code, but because I guess it's the yellow and the orange, but then the dragon fire, it does this too. It is $21 for a scout, kind of hefty, maybe not your vibe. Alternative would have been like the bloodshot. It's heavy red base, and I think a little bit of yellow might creep in. And then what I deem one of the best pairings with the Scottish Shamas is the SG Cyberforce. Like, this is just a match made in heaven when you see all the colors. It's a no-brainer pairing. What I like about it though is there are yellow lines going throughout it, and then we do get a little bit of like Illuminati RGB vibe, so you can claim it a little bit, but you got the mostly red, you got an accent of like yellowy orange. Gonna do the job nicely for us. Now, the important thing here is, what is the total cost of this loadout? You gave me a $1,700 budget, and we come in at $1,682 for everything that's been showcased here. That's for 2 knife and glove combinations, which are $56 over your requested budget. But the fact that we come $20 under, and we get good skins across the board, I thought we could live with that. Now, as I mentioned, there was the upgrade option for the knife, which would have been on the CT side with the smoke guys, and you could upgrade to the Bowie Phase 3 Doppler. It's $480. Now, if you're obviously replacing this over the classic knife or mask, it would take the total cost to $1,997. So literally just about coming in budget for you on the 2K mark. The reason I went for Phase 3 is you get this sort of like light touches of green throughout it with the blues, and like I'm gonna claim notes of purple a little bit with how it looks, but maybe it's just that deep blue color. But color-wise, that gets you more than one of the colors that you requested in it to a knife. It's just if you like it with the smoke outs or not, and we want to make that jump, or do you want to go for the nice urban mask that pairs more with the gloves themselves. With that said, that's the loadout done and dusted for you, mate. I hope you've enjoyed it. It was nice having a slightly more freedom-based loadout with like multiple color options to play into rather than just the one. That's something I'm trying to do a little bit more myself, and it can make things fun. So there we go, and I hope you guys watching it have enjoyed it as well. As I said, Darth Murder got to skip the queue because they are YouTube members. So if you also want to skip the queue, you can become a member by hitting that join button down below. But while I'm walking over that, I should be saying a big thank you to all the other YouTube members that continue to support the channel. It's greatly appreciated. I think there's a couple of you guys that need to get into the Discord so we can do your videos as well. So make sure you're in the Discord. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button if you're here, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.